Tonight on CTV, a look into the hurricane forecast for 2025.
Marcello Hernandez performs in the Laurie Student Center.
And the Earth Day festivities on campus.
All this and more tonight on CTV.
Good evening, Rams. My name is Brandon Lennon.
And I am Gabrielle Hibbitts.
An update on the recent visa revocation of multiple international students at Colorado State University. Now, more visas have been revoked, bringing the total number to 16. These revocations come as the Trump administration furthers its efforts to remove the visa of people the administration has dubbed as a safety risk or attended pro-Palestinian movements that are considered anti-Semitic by the White House. Further revocations have also taken place statewide, with University of Colorado reporting an additional 22 students having their visas canceled.
A 16-year-old male faces murder charges after two men were shot and killed outside of Foothills Mall in Fort Collins earlier this month, according to court records. Brian Gallegos was charged as an adult with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of attempted first-degree murder, unlawfully carrying a concealed weapon, and prohibited possession of a handgun by a juvenile, court records show. The 2 men, identified as Ivan Araguin and Louis Angel Araguin, were shot outside the mall at around 5 in the evening on Saturday, April 5th. Paramedics took both men to the hospital, where they both died from their injuries, according to the police. Gallegos was arrested early the next morning. According to court records, Gallegos is being held on a $2 million cash-only bail and is scheduled to appear in court on May 29th for a disposition hearing. Anyone with information about the shooting who has not spoken to investigators is asked to call detectives at 970-221-6580 or contact Larimer County Crime Stoppers.
A person was cited for arson after a wildfire broke out in LaPorte, northwest of Fort Collins, Tuesday afternoon. A mandatory evacuation alert was issued and included the 4300 block West County Road 54G, warning residents to leave the area immediately. Additionally, voluntary evacuations were ordered for the Cache-la-Poudre River area from Rawhide Drive to the new 287 bypass. Both of these orders were lifted approximately an hour after they were issued. The Larimer County Sheriff's Office cited 1 person for 4th-degree arson, a Class 1 misdemeanor, and 1 person has been identified as an adult. And now we're going over to our investigative reporter Billy Perkowski to hear how tariffs may affect our community.
Thanks, Brandon. Earlier this month, on April 2nd, the Trump administration announced the implementation of tariffs for countries across the world. On a day he labeled as Liberation Day, he called for a 10% baseline tax on all imports. He also included that countries that run trade surpluses will have higher tariffs. Some of these countries include China with a 34% import tax, the European Union with a 20% import tax, South Korea with a 25% import tax, and Taiwan with a 32% import tax. In his Liberation Day address, Trump backs his decision to raise tariffs, stating, "We will supercharge our domestic industrial base. We will pry open foreign markets and break down foreign trade barriers, and ultimately, more production at home will mean stronger competition and lower prices for consumers." Within the days following this address, the 10% tariffs were put into effect. However, the higher taxes have been put on a 90-day pause. This pause affects all countries, and doing so allows for those countries to negotiate with the United States before raising those taxes. This includes all countries except for China, which Trump has imposed a 145% tax on all imports. In retaliation, Chinese President Xi Jinping imposed a tax of 125% on all American imports and stated, "Tariff wars and trade wars harm the legitimate rights and interests of all countries, undermine the multilateral trading system, and impact the world economic order." With these tariffs, many businesses are being affected across the country. Even here in Fort Collins, small businesses are already feeling it. With tariffs affecting imports from across the world, businesses here in Fort Collins are already feeling the pressure. Two local businesses, Happy Lucky's Tea Shop and La Boutique, share how they have already felt the impacts of these tariffs.
Where we've seen a financial impact so far is our German supplier has already raised prices. And those were 20 to 25% increase in our costs, which so far we've absorbed those.
Some of our distributors have decided to share the price increase for the tariff. So for France, for example, it's 10% right now. So the distributor just passed 5% and we take a hit of 5%. Some others have actually reviewed their entire price list. And for example, a piece of cheese that we used to pay maybe $6, it's not $6.60. They actually, because the cost of everything went up, now we pay $8 for the same piece of cheese.
Although their prices may be on the rise, the Fort Collins community is showing their support.
We've had a great support from the Fort Collins community. Everybody in Old Town at CSU has been really welcoming and support the small businesses.
And hopefully our community is strong enough, and the idea of shopping local and supporting each other and caring for each other. I mean, that's how we get through all sorts of crazy things that happen in the world, and this is one of those times.
Although higher taxes have not been implemented yet, President Trump said that in the next few weeks we could be seeing some higher tariffs on some countries. It is not clear which countries could be affected by this increase or what the increase will be, with both countries and large corporations warning President Trump about the danger that these tariffs could cause. Only time will tell if he will go through with these higher tariffs. Now, back to you, Gabby.
On Monday, Florida State University resumed classes following the shooting that occurred on their campus on April 17th, where 2 died and 6 were injured. Initially, FSU President Richard McCullough announced that classes were to resume on Monday without offering the option to attend class remotely, and suggested that students reach out to staff members if they felt they weren't ready to attend class. This statement was met with outrage, with over 1,300 people signing a petition on change.org demanding the university to allow students the option to attend class remotely. After such protests from students, teachers, and families, the university offered remote classes and waived mandatory attendance to allow students more time to process the tragedy, McCullough announced on Saturday evening. The FSU president's message included resources for students and staff to access counseling and psychological services, and mental health professionals say long-term support from families, schools, and communities will play important roles in helping survivors and victims recover and manage their trauma.
2 weeks ago, several bodies of Palestinian humanitarian group, the Red Crescent Society, were discovered on the outskirts of Gaza along with their marked ambulances in a mass grave. Originally, the Israeli government said they did not know what happened to the group. Later, they changed their claim, saying that the ambulances were mistaken for Hamas vehicles due to the low visibility of the night. Now, footage from the phone found in the pockets of one of those buried in the mass grave show a very different story than what Israel is claiming. Viewer discretion is advised. As seen in the video, all vehicles had their lights on, distinguishing themselves as medical personnel. Israeli representatives say that they are relaunching another probe into the killings.
Pope Francis died at the age of 88 in his residence at the Vatican's Casa Santa Marta on Monday. Pope Francis was admitted into the Agostino Gemelli Polyclinic Hospital on February 14th after suffering from bronchitis for several days. The Pope's clinical situation gradually worsened, and his doctors diagnosed him with bilateral pneumonia on February 18th. After 38 days in the hospital, Pope Francis returned to his Vatican residence to continue his recovery. He then died of a stroke and heart failure just 1 day after giving the traditional Easter blessing from the balcony of St. Peter's. The director of the Holy See press office, Matteo Bruni, told journalists later on Monday that the Pope's body would be transferred to St. Peter's Basilica on Wednesday morning, allowing people the opportunity to pray before his mortal remains. According to Archbishop Diego Ravelli, the Pope has requested that the funeral rites be simplified and focused on expressing the faith of the Church.
An ambush on Israeli soldiers outside of northern Gaza, leaving 1 dead and multiple injured. The Al-Qassam Brigade, the military wing of the Hamas government, claims responsibility for these attacks. In a statement issued through the messaging app Telegram, the brigades say the operation Breaking the Sword resulted in the casualties of the Israeli offensive forces and the destruction of several military vehicles. The Israeli government made a statement shortly after, remarking that the incident was an unfortunate and serious incident, also confirming the death of 1 soldier and multiple injuries. We are now going to take a quick break, but stay tuned for the weather forecast up next.
After 2 years?
You gotta be kidding me! Okay, no,
Robbie.
seriously, do you have anything you can use against the dragon? I can do fireball, that'll do a lot of damage.
Yeah,
to all of us!
Well,
We're in a 4-foot
I'm sorry, what else do you want me to do?
Okay. Hold on. All right. Wizard, what do you do?
Hi Rams, my name is Lena Juhlin, here to bring you this week's weather. For our current conditions, it is 53 degrees outside. Sunset was at 7:49 p.m. with 80% humidity and 10-mile-per-hour winds. This week, Colorado has had some crazy weather, with the National Weather Service issuing severe storm warnings for Denver and Boulder due to a hail up to golf ball size, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, and a cyclone that's formed over South Denver. This is expected to dissipate overnight in the eastern plains, causing fog in these areas. You can also expect rain in central and southern Colorado. Also, there are higher fire risks in southeastern Colorado. For our overnight lows, you can expect some of those temperatures to be in the 40s along the I-25 corridor, with Pueblo getting up as high as 50. Into the eastern plains, Sterling, Lyman, and Burlington will be at 41, with Lamar at 49. Looking at our western slopes, you can expect some cooler temperatures in Craig and Gunnison, and Grand Junction being a bit warmer at 48. For tomorrow's forecast, you can expect some light rain throughout the day, with the high being 48 and the low being 44. Sunset will be at 7:50 p.m. with 73% humidity and 9-mile-per-hour winds. Looking into our 5-day forecast, you can expect those temperatures to get up around Sunday, up to 81 degrees. Can't wait to go outside. Early next week, you can expect the temperatures to drop down to that mid-60 range for the highs and those 40s for the lows. That's all we have for weather. Back to you guys.
Colorado State University hurricane researchers are predicting an above-average Atlantic hurricane season in their initial 2025 forecast. Above-average surface temperatures of the subtropical eastern Atlantic Ocean and Caribbean Sea are the primary factor for their prediction of 9 total hurricanes this year. Additionally, the unlikelihood of the El Niño weather pattern occurring this year is another factor, as El Niño's wind patterns disfavor Atlantic hurricane formation and intensification. The CSU team is predicting 17 named storms during the Atlantic hurricane season, which runs from June 1st to November 30th. Out of those 17 storms, researchers forecast 9 to become hurricanes and 4 to reach major hurricane strength with sustained winds of 111 miles per hour or greater. The CSU forecast is intended to provide a best estimate of activity in the Atlantic during the upcoming season, not an exact measure.
Certainly, individual paths of storms, tropical storms, and hurricanes cannot be predicted far in advance, and so that's going to change from year to year. As far as whether or not we're going to have overall more intense seasons with more storms or stronger storms, we don't know, but we do know that it's closely connected to El Niño and La Niña. As far as individual seasons, we know that warmer sea surface temperatures sort of load the dice towards stronger storms.
The CSU team will issue updates to this forecast on June 11th, July 9th, and August 6th. And as always, the researchers caution coastal residents to take the proper precautions.
This Wednesday was Ramfest. Festivities were kicked off with the comedian Marcello Hernandez visiting Colorado State University's campus and giving a stand-up show at the Laurie Student Center. Packing the halls and selling out a show. This Ramfest, a comedian came to make a few jokes and make the whole campus laugh. With students waiting in line 3 hours before the doors even open, and the event boasting its own police service, metal detector, and bags to put your phone so you can't record the show. Crowd so big, it nearly filled every seat in the room. And in fact, the show sold out within 5 days and shut down the website on the first day of selling.
We're super happy that our tickets were able to sell out in less than a week. And we also had a really early turnout so far. We've had online downstairs since around 2 p.m. as well. And in addition to that, we're just super excited to have him here and for the show to start.
The Marcello Show, featuring Matt Richards, Asha Wards, and Marcello Hernandez, was a huge hit amongst the campus crowd. This is Brandon Lennon, CTV Channel. Bringing lots of laughs to the campus, this Ramfest won't be one that will be forgotten. We're going to head over to our reporter, Karma Robbins, who attended a lecture on the work it takes to create music. Karma?
Thanks, guys. Social media continues to transform how musicians connect with their audience and promote their work. At Colorado State University, a recent lecture shed light on the hidden labor behind the music and the role social media plays in shaping how that work is seen and valued. The discussion offered a new perspective on the modern music industry and the realities facing today's artists.
When I first started to do this research, this was in about 2005, 2006. Blogs were really hot at the time, and especially during the pandemic, I became really aware of how musicians use Instagram and how they use that social media to project really idealized versions of what it is that they do. And those versions would contrast with some of the experiences I had actually watching them build these concerts. And so all of that was kind of my big, just way in of trying to figure out what's going on here and what does social media do for these groups.
Production tracking use values shows how music is made.
I'm going to track the production of this useful thing. I'm going to pay attention to who's performing. The common thing is are they really singing or are they lip syncing? That's whenever we're thinking about that, we're actually already thinking about production tracking use values.
After attending this lecture, here's what Dr. John Pippin hopes everyone gains.
But the thing I really want to help people do is, I think with this talk, is to think about stuff that maybe they've never thought about, or think about stuff in a very new way, especially their relationship to how they're creating value.
Dr. Pippin's research sheds light on the hidden labor behind the music we enjoy and how social media continues to blur the lines between passion and profession. The lecture encourages audience to rethink the value of creative work in today's digital age, reminding us that behind every song we love, there's a story of hard work and dedication. Up next, we have Payton Barill with all news sports, but first we have a quick break. Stay tuned.
Welcome to CTV, the student-run TV station here on campus. With 3 shows a week, we have a lot going on, but don't just take my word for it.
Prefer exciting sports over the boring news? Join us at Tuesday Night Sports for some private athlete coverage, interviews, and some live game updates. We'll see you then.
And on Wednesdays, that's when things get really entertaining. Whether you're hiking out in nature, rocking with a local band, or hosting your own game show, the possibilities are endless.
As Northern Colorado's only broadcast news station, our news team is dedicated to bringing you in-depth and accurate reporting every Thursday.
If you prefer working behind the scenes, Studio Crew may be the place for you. You can operate cams, a switchboard, or direct your own show. And it makes you look really cool.
And that's really only scratching the surface. Come work with an award-winning TV station
Here at CTV.
Hi Rams, it's Thursday and that time of the show where we get to take a look at the Mountain West Conference. I'm Payton Barill and for sports tonight we'll take a look at the Women's Tennis Championship.
Ranked at number 9 heading into the tournament, Colorado State had a full lineup for the first time since February. Taking the court against Wyoming for the first tournament matchup, the Rams took a trip down to the fabulous Darling Tennis Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. In the number 1 singles position, senior Sarah Weekly came out of the gate swinging to take down Wyoming's Anastasia Kochliskava in 2, with a final score of 6-3, 6-4. The Rams earned their second victory from their number 3 singles player, Victoria Zadenskaya, who managed a close win over Elena Trenchev. Colorado State's final point came from sophomore Logan Vokes in a 6-3, 7-5 match at the number 4 singles spot. Going into the doubles matches tied, the Rams took an unfortunate fall to the Cowgirls, who won 4-3 and advanced to today's round of the tournament. The Rams finished the season with a final record of 4-18. The bittersweet ending to the season was head coach Miley Tran's shortest run with her 4 seasons as the Rams, facing competitive teams and working through injuries from some of Colorado State's strongest players was no doubt a challenge from the season's start. More from the Mountain West tournament took place today with 3 matches this morning and 1 this afternoon. Heading into the semifinals, you can expect to see the Aztecs, Falcons, Lady Rebels, and Broncos go racket to racket for a place in the championship match coming up this Saturday at 11 in the morning. You can watch the tournament unravel for free on PlayStat. But that's all for sports tonight. Up next is Tate Paisley, who's going to bring us coverage from the Earth Day Festival after the event.
We scored? Yeah, we scored going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Wait, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
But I need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Students and community members gathered at the LSC Sutherland Sculpture Garden to celebrate Earth Day, sharing their organization's ideas and efforts to promote a more sustainable future. On a bright Tuesday on the LSC's West Lawn, Earth Day came alive with conversations, community, and calls to action. Student organizations and local groups came together to share how they're working towards a more sustainable future. The annual Earth Day Festival is part of CSU's Earth Week, and it's more than just tabling. It's a chance to network, educate, and inspire students who might not otherwise seek out sustainably focused groups.
Yeah, I mean, it's really important. It's one of the few days that we get to really connect with students from all parts of campus, not just people who are already interested in sustainability. So it's a really great opportunity to network and to also just see what other organizations and local companies are doing around Fort Collins.
Sydney Saddleman works with CSU's Student Sustainability Center, which hosts events, provides funding for green projects, and connects students with local changemakers. Just a few tables away, the Rainflux Club was spreading the word about rangeland conservation, a lesser-known but vital part of Colorado's ecosystem.
I think it's really important. We had a lot of these stopped by already, and we actually our current president, Noah, just started the club back up this year. It kind of fell apart, I think, during COVID, part of the numbers. So yeah, we're not too big right now. So I think this is really important for getting exposure since we're kind of starting back up.
Like many of CSU's clubs, Annabelle says that their club is still rebuilding after the pandemic, and events like this are key to growing awareness and involvement on campus.
I think this event is good for us to be able to spread the word of who we are. No one really knows that we exist since we are a regional transportation rating agency, and we're a result of federal regulation. So we're one of the agencies that are around, but no one knows we exist. So it's good to get out and spread the word of what we do, and also get some feedback on our transportation network so that we can incorporate into our plan.
From air quality to student activism, Earth Day at CSU proves that sustainability isn't just a trend, it's a community effort. From student organizations to local advocates, the Earth Day Festival sparked conversations and connections, all in honor of our planet. As music played and ideas collided, the message was clear: sustainability starts with us. Now, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of the stuff I heard at that festival was way beyond me. In terms of sustainability and, keeping our Earth alive, I kind of have my limit at recycling. That's all I really know. What about you guys?
Truly, I'm an advocate for nuclear power, though it's extremely scary with the recent events. By recent, I mean Chernobyl and 3 Mile Island. And I'm an extreme advocate for nuclear energy. especially since it's one of the cleanest ways to have energy. What about, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all into hybrid electric cars, solar panels, recycling, things like that, just making sure that you're being sustainable, even shopping at thrift stores, things like that are really great for the environment. And it's good that we have Earth Day to kind of highlight how people can be more sustainable and caring towards our Earth. But that's going to bring us to the end of our show tonight.
Thanks for tuning in. But right before you go, we have a quick message from our executive producer, Bella Walser.
Thanks, Brandon. We wanted to give a reminder that it is CTV Giveaway Week, which means if you scan this QR code or click the link in our show description or Instagram bio to donate as little as $1, you'll be entered in the chance to win a gift card to one of Fort Collins' local businesses. But make sure you choose CTV under the section titled, I wish to designate this gift to. This will ensure we can count your name in the giveaway. CTV and all of larger Rocky Mountain student media is not a university-funded program, so we rely on our community to keep us going. Any donations help, plus you may win a gift card. Now, normally we would say see you next week, but we'll actually see you tomorrow because we have our first ever on-air Olympics at 4:30 ran by our CTV sports crew. So make sure to tune in either on YouTube or our Instagram, or you can even come to the IM fields to participate in some games and even get the chance to win some prizes. So make sure to tune in tomorrow. That's all we have for you tonight, Rams.